it clicked that my mom always called me her rebel daughter. And I figured out, like, this is why. Because when I put my mind to something, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to figure it out. I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was always that kid with a lemonade stand. And always felt a little directionless. I went to college and got my master's in teaching because it was what my parents said would be a good job for me. And I should do English or I should do art because that's what I was good at. And I would come home crying and I would say, Mom, this isn't for me. I really want to be in the business world. You know, it wasn't creative, and it's a job you take for practical reasons. 1 second. So here I am, thought that this was my calling. I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She said it was the best job she ever had before she went back to teaching. And I just felt really kind of empty inside. I had this moment sitting in my living room on a chair with my daughter, and I thought, you know, this is what I thought that I wanted to do forever. And I was really missing that piece of myself that was creative and was out there in the world. And I realized I needed to combine motherhood with pursuing my own passion and doing something for myself. And that's when I thought, well, I'll start baking again. Hey, have you guys picked your ugly cookie yet that you wanted to try? Sen. Okay, I got one here for you. I lived in Chicago, I had lived in Brooklyn, and loved getting these huge chocolate chunk walnut cookies after my workout. I like milk and semi-sweet in my chocolate chunk cookies, and I love walnuts in my cookie. So I knew that the first cookie I made had to have all of those elements. I like it to be a little bit chewy, not too sweet, but not too bitter. And I like the good crunch of the walnuts. I like it to be a little bit gooey in the middle, a little chewy and crispy around the edges. So that's really what I was going for. There you go.
There we go.
Thanks, Dan.
Awesome.
Let me know what you think.
Oh, definitely.
All right, have a good one. Thank you. Have a great weekend. This building is actually slated to be bulldozed. This building is slated to be bulldozed. It's supposed to be developed into a long-term stay hotel. I have not found our next home yet, and waiting, I think, for me is the most frustrating thing because I am a person of action. I am a doer. I ease my own anxiety by putting action to that thing, and I can't in this case. My hands are tied. A lot of people want to quit and give up, and it's completely understandable, but if you can hang in there, I think if you can play the long game, then that's where you win. Well, anyway, so when I told my husband, like, look, this is something I think I want to do. Like, I want to make this my job. I'm going to make the most amazing chocolate chip cookies that you can get in the suburbs, and I'm going to make all different kinds. And he was like, look, you know, how is this going to work? We've got 2 young kids. Is this something you really want to do, like taking time away from them? And everyone I had talked to said, oh, I had a friend who tried that. It's so difficult, you know, it's impossible to make money, you'll never make it work. And I thought, you know what, I finally figured out that thing that lights a fire inside me, and I don't want to let that go. I really want to see how far I can take this thing. And I'm not willing to give up on it just because someone else said it was hard. You know, keeping yourself afloat while you are trying to make your entrepreneurial dream work is definitely one of the hardest things, and not letting the really hard days and like a lot of disappointment along the way get you down. Look at this guy. They're rebellious. Yeah, our cookies are rebellious, and you know what? I guess I wouldn't want to have it any other way. You know, I keep going back to cookies. I love cake, but cookies are the thing that, whether it's good or bad, I could probably eat every day. And my favorite part of this entire job, I think, is recipe creation, and then next is baking. In general, I come alive. I love it. I'm locked in. I'm in the zone. Yeah. I'm like, my brain is thinking about not only these cookies in the oven, but like the other oven that's baking, and like, oh, by the way, we're gonna open soon. You know, I thrive on being busy, and that's the one thing I have going for me is I'm super passionate and I love what I do. And so I'm gonna hang in there as long as I can.